We're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment, which is going to be talking about some general news stories around the league, some news stuff I did want to touch upon, but maybe weren't notable enough to get their own segment. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that. So, first one we'll be talking about is the Orioles. They signed Tony Kemp to a minor league contract. Tony Kemp has played with Cincinnati this spring training, but got cut and now is finding a home on the Orioles, most likely AAA team. A good signing for the Orioles, in my opinion. I think Tony Kemp is very valuable veteran depth. He's a guy that just knows what he's doing, has some nice speed, good bat-to-ball skills, a guy you can call up in a pinch, and he can start for 2 or 3 games and be just an okay player. That's kind of all you need from him. And the Orioles have a lot of young infield depth because of the young team that they do have, but always finding a veteran is important, and I think Tony Kemp brings a valuable skill set to any team, and especially a team in the position like the Orioles are right now. So, I think it was a great signing by the Orioles, and I think it was a good veteran depth move for them, and not too much to complain about here. After that, we have the Cardinals. Big news coming out of there. Dylan Carlson got into a collision in the outfield during a spring training game yesterday, and will be out for a few weeks, starting the season on the IL. Victor Scott is selected, and he will be their opening day starting center fielder. Dylan Carlson was supposed to be, of course, but as I just stated, he got hurt, so he is not going to be starting. So Victor Scott is a great prospect, in my opinion, a guy who can hit really well, has great defensive skills, I think is a really good prospect for the Cardinals, and someone I'm overall excited to watch for their season and excited to see how he does perform. Now, it does suck for the Cardinals, as Dylan Carlson was a guy I had going into the year that I think would be really, really good. I think this is a guy that could really break out finally. He had a fine season last year, but with him being such a top prospect these last few years and being in trade rumors since he hasn't really performed that much, with traders swiftly with the Yankees, we thought he might be traded there at the deadline, but I think he has a lot of potential and has great bat-to-ball skills. He's just a great hitter overall, so this is a guy I definitely think has a great future with the Cardinals, and I am sad that he is going to miss opening day, but I think Victor Scott is a notable replacement and a guy who can perform well. But again, it does suck with Dylan Carlson, a guy I thought had a lot of talent. I still think has a lot of talent. I don't think it's ending his career or anything. So, yeah, I'm hopeful to watch him when he gets back, and I'm excited to see what he does do when he gets back. So, yeah, definitely a guy I want to watch here, and definitely see what happens with his career and his season going forward. But again, Victor Scott, I think, is a good move to bring him up. I think he is MLB ready, just doesn't have a spot because the Cardinals we're so flushed on starting outfielders. So he brings great defensive skills, has great speed, is a good hitter. So I think it's a good player for the Cardinals and someone I'm excited to watch. Now, the Cardinals do only have 3 outfielders on their opening day roster now, it seems. Main outfielders, they do have some versatility guys, but main outfielders, so it could prompt them to look at some more people to play the outfield. Michael A. Taylor, I think, was a good fit before he got snatched up by the division rival Pirates. I think you could potentially bring back your old friend Tommy Pham if he wants to come back, and because you're not guaranteeing him a starter role, I'm not sure if he would do that, but I still think it's worth it to check in. I've heard online that Jake McCarthy was available in trade talks from Bob Nightingale, so I think that could potentially be a fit for the Cardinals if they are in a pinch and need some outfield depth. So it's going to be interesting to see where the Cardinals do go from here about Dylan Carlson and now having Victor Scott in the lineup. Again, I'm not very high on them going into the year. I don't think their pitching is going to hold off. I don't think the pitching is going to be good enough to make them competitive. I think their hitting's great, but the pitching, as I've talked about so many times, is just so bad in my opinion. So I think that's really the key, getting the pitching to just be in games and having offenses, and they're having the offense slug their way through. So it's all you can ask for if you are a Cardinals fan, but I don't think that's what's going to happen now. Jose Urena, in a surprise, has made the Rangers opening day roster. Some more pitching depth for the Rangers. As I've talked about so many times throughout this show, their pitching depth is just not where it needs to be. Max Scherzer's hurt, Jacob deGrom's hurt, Tyler Mahle's hurt, and those are 2 big guys in my opinion. And starting the season with Nathan Eovaldi, John Gray, Andrew Heaney as your top 3 pitchers is not ideal in my opinion. Dane Dunning's fine. Michael Lorenzen, he just signed, is fine, but your pitching depth is not great, and because of that, you're going to have guys like Jose Urena, who is probably not an MLB caliber player, on the roster right now. So you just need more pitching depth, and I think veterans like Urena represent that, and I think are good additions for Texas, and overall are good. So yeah, great job by Texas to sign more pitching depth before with Lenka Lorenzen. But I think that still needs some more, because I wouldn't feel comfortable if I was a Rangers fan having Jose Urena on my opening day roster in the year of 2024. So just my thoughts, but we'll see what they do, and we'll see how this is affected once Scherzer, Mahle, and DeGrom come back, whenever they do come back. I think it'll be the second half, but we'll see how they do progress with their injuries. I think Scherzer and DeGrom are going to be more notable to watch as they are older and more injury prone in the past few years. DeGrom especially. Scherzer only really in the past year or so. Before that, he was pretty much all good, but he's gotten injured in the past 2 years with pretty significant injuries. So it'll be notable to watch how they come back and see how they do perform from their injuries. The Mets released Luke Voit, which was not surprising. He had done just so bad during the spring training period, not performing well at all. And it was surprising for them to release him, though, because they did have not a lot of DH depth for the first 10 games. JD Martinez is starting the first 10 games of his Mets contract in AAA, which I didn't really touch upon, which I meant to, but I never got to it. He is doing that because he is signing so late and he didn't get spring training to ramp up. So he needs to ramp up and, as he put it, make sure he doesn't get injured and screw everything up. So, yeah, not a surprise that he is taking that minor league time, but I figured with the Mets having guys like Ji-Man Choi and Luke Voit being on the team, I figured one of those guys would start on opening day to be their DH, but I guess not. It'll be interesting to see who they do play there now on opening day, which most likely will be on Friday, as Thursday, I assume, will be rained out for the Mets, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, definitely interested to see what happens with the Mets and overall what is going to be happening with the DH position. I kind of figured Mark Vientos would start the season on the MLB roster because of JD Martinez starting in AAA, but they don't believe in him at all, and he's starting in AAA, so I kind of figured it'd be him, Ji-Man Choi, or Luke Voit starting the season as the DH, but none of them are, so it's going to be fun to watch who will be the starting DH on opening day. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll see what happens, and yeah, going to be interested to watch that. Joel Sherman of the New York Post is reporting that the Yankees and Mets both remain interested in Jordan Montgomery, but at their own price points. So basically what he's saying is if his contract offer falls so low that the Mets and Yankees feel like it's something they have to act upon because it is such great value, they'll sign him, which makes sense. In the end, I still think he goes for a long-term deal for the Red Sox or the Angels, but we'll definitely watch and see what happens here. So yeah, I think the Mets and Yankees both being interested makes sense. Both have lost their aces to start the year. Both just need overall pitching depth as well. So I think them remaining interested in Montgomery makes a lot of sense, and I think it is something to watch as the season goes on and to potentially see if they do end up signing Montgomery, one of these teams. Again, I think Red Sox or Angels personally for him, but it's still interesting to hear that they both are interested in signing Montgomery and are interested in his services. So yeah, going to be interesting. Sorry I keep saying interesting, but it's going to be significant, let's say, to watch Montgomery over the next few days or so as opening day and the season does start to roll on. So we will see if he does sign somewhere, and I guess the Mets and Yankees are a fit, and we'll see what ends up happening with those guys. So, yeah. So, thank you so much for watching today's episode. That is it. Remember, you can find us any place on social media. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you so much for watching, and see you tomorrow, and we'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. So, see you and have a great day. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.